Hi everyone, welcome. We're out here in my garden, and yeah, there's my vegetable garden, but we're not out here on a gardening expedition. Today we're checking in on my outdoor worm bag, version 6.0. And that just means this is the 6th year I've been doing it, and we're going to give them a feeding. It's been a couple weeks now, 14 days since the last check-in, at which time they received their 7th feeding. So today's feeding, number 8, includes a package of frozen this and that from the freezer, a day's worth of coffee, and the coffee filter. And then rolled up inside this piece of newspaper is a bunch of my shredded paper cardboard. Not my prepared bedding, which is usually made with some dampness and some leaves. This is just stuff that came straight out of the shredder, pretty much. Cardboard and paper only. The bedding they got last time, the bedding slash feeding, was sort of a combined thing last time. I had just gotten done pruning a bunch of leaves and stems and stuff like that off of my cucumbers and pepper plants last time we were in here. So I had all this stuff that was just cuttings of the leaves and stems and stuff from a couple of my cucumber and pepper plants, and I wonder how it was received. My assumption would be that after 14 days we would probably find some signs of it. I'm already at the very bottom. It didn't take long to reach the bottom. I would say that the material in this container is probably no more than the length of any of my fingers there before I'm reaching bottom. But yeah, the feeding we gave them last time would have been placed right down the middle, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing some of the leftovers of here. Some of the stems would have been a little bit more robust, thicker and tougher than others, but there was a lot of leafy matter, a lot of leaves from peppers and cucumbers. And even though we're seeing lots of stems, so far I don't think I've really seen anything that resembles leftovers of the leaves. So it's kind of an interesting feeding, where I imagined it being sort of a combined mixture of stuff that the worms would see as ready to eat food material, combined with other stuff that might last a little longer, might serve more as a bedding. So it seems like all the food type stuff has been eaten, but everything that's piled up here is kind of a bedding type material, which will eventually also get consumed by the worms, naturally. But since it's a little tougher, a little slower going, the worms will have to take their time breaking that down at whatever pace they're able to achieve. So, you know, as long as we've already made such a huge disruption right down the middle, why don't we just give the whole system a quick little stir and see how things look in general. I definitely like the moisture level in here. I mean, as soon as I pull up a handful of material and I see that worms are hanging out in this stuff, that to me says it's something that the worms themselves consider satisfactory from a moisture perspective. So they like it, I like it. And you know, spot where all that stuff that we collected is sitting, I'd like to till up the material underneath that as well. So why don't we actually plan on using this stuff as sort of supplementary bedding for our feeding zone, which is going to be down the middle. That'll let us stir up this edge of the bin as well. And now the whole system's been aerated nicely. We've had a chance to check it all out. Lots and lots of nice castings piling up in here, and a really nice collection of nice seasoned bedding to complement their feeding today, plus a little fresh bedding in the form of shredded paper and cardboard, which I hope they'll appreciate. So let's create another little opening here in the recycled bedding type material, into which we can place this little stash of shredded paper and cardboard from downstairs. You know, I mean, what's the harm in just keeping it as a little package? Why don't we just do it that way? They'll be able to make their way through that newspaper right there and dive into that bedding and start making good use of it as they see fit. And I imagine all of this vegetable matter, as it begins to thaw out and melt, will start dropping a good bit of moisture down into that paper as well as juices and other things to make that stuff even more irresistible to the wormies. So it does seem like a pretty nice feeding, probably a little bit more nutrient rich than their last feeding, which was just a bunch of leaves and stems. So I think they're going to appreciate this. Yeah, very nice. I really like the way the system's coming along. It looks really good. Oh, I was trying to hang on to that coffee over there so I could deploy it in an orderly fashion down here as sort of a top coating to the food. And I also bought my grit from downstairs up here to include a little bit of pulverized eggshell with the feeding. That is definitely a nice feeding that I think the worms are going to appreciate. So let's just kind of get it covered up, and then we'll deploy the coffee filter in our traditional fashion as feeding zone indicator. Yeah, look at all that material, how nice it is. Really nice, loose, fluffy stuff, not clumping up anywhere, not muddy, also not dry or inhospitable anywhere, just all seemingly perfect and fine. So hopefully the worms agree with my assessment of the material and their environment. I think they do. The worms look happy and healthy and everything else. And man, I can't believe that this plywood top is still in service, but you can see how easily a chunk of it just broke free from me being a little too rough with it. So if I want it to last, I'm gonna have to be careful. So we'll try to be careful. All right, everyone, that's it for the check-in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.